This is Tim with Redoubt News. We're in Great Falls, Montana. This is Wednesday, and there's a demonstration this morning here in front of the courthouse. And I'm with one of the organizers of this event and been on this battlefield. Georgia, would you like to give the people a little bit of a statement of what's going on here in Montana and help us get that story out?
Yes, I'm Georgia Miller, and I'm here as a child advocate. I got involved with CPS in 2014 when our family reached out to them for help, and what they did is they turned on us, took the children, and kept them for 11 months and actually blamed the abuse on me. All the abuse we were reporting was blamed on me, and because I was the most vocal in trying to get help for the children. And so we lived in fear for a year, and just very much know what parents go through. And to this day, a lot of our friends don't believe that my daughter didn't actually do something wrong to get her children taken away. And so I've heard from hundreds of parents all over the state that call me, and the reason I believe them is because we've been through it, and CPS, the child protection system is broken and it needs to be fixed.
This act is going to give a lot of money to help parents be treated properly, and a lot of the current even drug treatment programs that CPS is putting these parents in, it's not working. And so we've got to figure out ways that do work and spend our money on that. And because even these children, if they're away from their families, even though their families have issues, they can be helped. And the longer you take the kids away from parents, they are being destroyed. It's these poor little children that are just hurting. And we went through that where we watched our little grandchildren that we love more than our own life have to go through this, where they were separated, and then you'd go to the visits and they would just cry, "Please take me home. Why can't I go home with you?" And it was so hard to even take yourself back to that place, but you had to show up, even though you spent the rest of the week crying, because you were crying for that poor little child, what they're going through, being separated. And so this is a system that's supposed to be helping those children, but it's actually doing more harm. So we've got to fix it. We've got to come together as a country. That I don't believe that there's any person in this country that believes that we should allow children to be abused and neglected. There's not one person, I think, that believes that. But we need to come together as a nation and to try to fight this. And one of the other things that happened is that people like churches and citizens, they used to look at their neighbors and see, yeah, this mom is a single mom, she's struggling, I should go over and help her, maybe I'll mow her lawn. She's having trouble with her kids, maybe I'll go babysit for her so she can go to dinner, just go for a walk. And so what happened is when Child and Family Services came on the scene, they took over the federal government took over what churches and citizens and caring neighbors used to do for these families that were hurting and just needed a little help. And so we need to start doing that again. Instead of, if you see your neighbor, your neighbor, she's over there, she has 4 kids, or she's on her own and she's yelling at her kids, maybe go volunteer to help her out. Go wash her dishes for her, and we can all do something to help these families. And even if you see, instead of picking up the phone and calling CPS, because really they're not going to get help that's going to be effective, it's going to cause more harm. But we have to fix this system because it's very much needed. There is nobody that wants abused children. There is nobody that wants neglected children. Nobody that wants that. So we need to come together as a nation, and I really am so hopeful that we have this law, and Montana has decided, they gave the states, it was supposed to be enacted this year by October, I believe, and the federal government has given the states the option of a 2-year leeway to get this going. And I understand that it is a big undertaking for them. They have to completely switch gears of what they're doing. So maybe everybody, we can pray, try to support them, give them, our ideas, and to help them to build this into a better system that actually works. And our federal dollars are going to start working towards that. But Montana was one of the first states that decided that they were going to take the 2 years. So we won't see probably any changes for 2 years. But I do know they are working on it, and they are trying to come up with some stuff that works. And so I'm very hopeful that, you know, we can move forward and we can start fixing this for all these poor little children. And we're probably into the second or third generation of kids who've been harmed by this. And we see that most of the kids that are being child trafficked are coming from foster care. Most of the kids, the rate of foster care kids within a year of coming out of foster care, they're either in jail, dead, or homeless on the streets. So a lot of our homeless population are foster kids. A lot of the kids on drugs, you know, I mean, the foster system doesn't work. And I've also seen that one of the things that's come about with the foster system is that with abortion so prevalent, there's lots of people who cannot have children. And so what they do is they become foster parents, and then they fall in love with these children that they are taking care of temporarily, supposedly for parents. They fall in love with them, and they become part of the system to lie and to get that parent's rights terminated so they can have their kids. So that's another thing. I mean, and I know that they went into it with good hearts to try to help children, but we have a lack of children to adopt in this country is another thing that's fueling this system to be so broken. So thank you so much for letting me speak today.